gives me great pleasure at this time to congratulate Oliver Baete, Chairman of Allianz Board of Management, for being awarded the John J. McCloy Award tonight. Through his work on retirement security, climate change, and promoting a more just society which tends to the needs of all of its people, Oliver has demonstrated through words and action a commitment to making certain that democracy can continue to flourish and pave the way for a better future for all of our citizens of the globe. I know that Oliver's wife, Tatiana, and his daughter, Karina, who is a Princeton undergraduate, are here this evening to share in this recognition of Oliver. So I commend the American Council on Germany for its work, which spans almost 70 years, for honoring Oliver Baete and Allianz. Congratulations, Oliver. Thank you.
It's pretty cool. It looked like an Allianz eagle, so pretty good. So, you have heard so many speeches. Do you want one more? I'm not so sure. You want one more? Very good. So thank you very much, Congressman Dent. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, for coming tonight. This is my first event in almost 2 years with more than 100 people in the room. I was really nervous about tonight. I say it's really beautiful. Thank you for coming and giving us a great atmosphere for having this celebration. Without you, it would be nothing. And thank you for sponsoring the event tonight. I'm very, very honored to be here. That's the first thing I want to get out of the system. The second thing I would like to talk about, and I want to thank all my colleagues that are here in the room. When you are the CEO of a company like Allianz, you're really worth nothing. I know that in America, many people think CEOs are like gods. In Germany, we still, you see that in our salaries too, by the way. We are a little closer to earth, and I would like to thank all my colleagues in the room because they make the success of this company happening. I'm here on their behalf, and I'm accepting the reward on behalf of all of Allianz employees and people. Thank you very much. By the way, 150,000 of them full-time. We have 500,000 agents as well. And again, I'm very proud of you. Thank you very much. Now, I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to talk about political relationships or unification. I want to talk about a personal story. It started, I actually looked it up, January 24th, 1988, when a young man called Oliver Baete came to the United States for the first time with 2 suitcases, a big loan, and an apprenticeship and an internship at a German bank. It was minus 10 degrees centigrade, and I was about to go back to the airport and go home because I had lost directions to the place that I would really have to check in at night. It was Elmhurst, Queens, and in 1988, Elmhurst, Queens was not the pinnacle of the world. But I tell you something about Queens. I was preparing for this evening. It's just actually is in the Guinness World Record book as the most ethnically diverse urban area in the world. There are 138 languages spoken in the borough. So it was welcoming me at night with bullets, during the day with a lot of hospitality. I was really having an interesting time traveling to New York with the subway. And I learned a lot about life over the next few months and years. And I want to end the story almost about my experience in New York it was August 18th, 1994, when my wife and I got married in New York City Hall, and before we returned to Germany. So I'll never be a president of anything, but somebody said, ich bin ein Berliner. I will say, I feel like a New Yorker. Thank you very much for doing this for me. Thank you very much. Now I want to spend 2 minutes about why it is so important for Allianz to support German-American relations. I actually believe institutions are here to help transcend something that is at the foundation of how these things happen. That are the human beings, those of you that are in the room. that actually make friendship really happen. Yes, we have the American Council in Germany with all the institutional relationships, but the reality is the leaders in these institutions that are making all the difference. And over the years, that's what we have to do. So when we think about Allianz, we came to this country a long, long time ago. A lot of people think about us as an insurer. We also happen to be the second largest active asset manager in the world. And the biggest businesses that we have are in this country, and we're helping millions and millions of American savers to achieve their retirement goals. We have one of the finest life insurance companies in the world in the United States called Allianz Life in Minneapolis. And we run very important businesses across the country, and many of you may not know that you are actually an Allianz client. We happen to be, by the way, it's highly likely when you buy a travel insurance policy, when you travel, that you are insured with Allianz partners. So we are in your life. You may know it, or you may not. So Allianz is much more than a German insurance company. It's actually part of the society. By the way, we're one of the biggest taxpayers in this country, and we're also very proud of that too. It's not always fashionable. I know that corporations pay taxes. We're actually very proud to pay taxes. Now, something personal. When I spent the 5 years here, there was a lot of debate around what corporations really do, and why there are many things that unite us with our American peers. Many of them are in the room. There's one thing that's still slightly different in terms of how we in Germany think about the economy. After the Second World War, and when the system was created, we created something that's called the soziale Marktwirtschaft, the social capitalist economy. And it looks like an oxymoron. We actually think we made it work. We have one of the healthcare systems in the world that people trust the most, even though we spend only half of what the United States spends on healthcare. It's highly appreciated by people. We have one of the best pension systems in the world. Actually, the Chinese government is now trying to introduce the German corporate pension system into China. And we have many things that we try to do by integrating businesses more firmly in society. I also studied with Professor Farmer and said, well, you know, the business of business is to create shareholder value. We believe it's not good enough. So when I became CEO, we decided for the first time in our history, and I'm only the 10th CEO of Allianz in 131 years, that we put 2 additional targets into every manager's target, other than financials is. To be the loyalty leader for any business that we're in. We want to have the highest customer satisfaction. A lot of business talk about it. We put it into the targets of people. And the second thing we said, we can only be outstanding leaders if we have the highest employee satisfaction of any peer in the world. And we also firmly anchored that into the target of the company. And we've been making huge progress on this. In 2016, however, when I became CEO, we added another objective and said, we are one of the largest institutional investors in the world, and one of the most fundamental challenges society has is we need to confront climate change. My mother's generation, and we created a total mess by ruining the environment, and we have to face the consequences. My daughter and my son will not be very happy if we leave the world as dirty and as destined for a catastrophe if we don't act. Now, I thought about how we can do something about that, and it was not through changing actually insurance products only, but as one of Europe's biggest institutional investors, we decided we are going to exit the investment in coal. Now, I come and live in the city of Cologne, and west of Cologne you have the biggest exploitations of brown coal in the Western world. So it was not an easy decision to say we're not going to invest anymore in coal, we're not going to support any more insurance of coal power plants, and we know it's going to create problems for communities that actually live off coal. We know it was not easy to make that decision. Second, we not just do disinvestments, we actually work with companies and say, how do you make the transition into a better future? So we're not just buy and sell, we advise companies, say, can we help you with the plan? Now, In 2019, in September, and that was until this day the proudest moment of my life, together with Mr. Guterres, the UN Secretary General, we launched the Net Zero Asset Owner Alliance in the UN General Assembly here in New York. I was there with Chancellor Merkel, and we decided we are going to bring institutional investors like ours. We call them asset owners because we don't manage only assets, we decide on asset allocations and say we are going to go net zero, first with our 800 billion insurance assets, and then with the asset management side too, to help the world to get to net zero. As of yesterday, thank you very much. As of yesterday, we have 40 members, $7 trillion committed to go to net zero, and we don't do it like other financial institutions and sectors do it by making a commitment for the successors of our successors. We have real targets for 2025, for 2030 will be at half of what the emissions were in our portfolio. And we know we don't have all the answers, but we'll make the leap. As you will find out, politics are not following as fast as they should. I'm very worried about COP now in Glasgow because none of the governments are really going to honor their commitments. We're really worried. So it means all of us, the private sector, have to do what we already did in Paris. We have to lead the way. So Allianz is more than a provider of retirement solutions, of property casualty insurance, or great asset management solutions. We really want to be a force for good to leaving a better place for our children. So we have to be doing more than paying dividends and giving good shareholder results. So I'm very proud to take this prize because we believe between the United States and America, these two countries can really make it work. But please tell your politicians they have to follow through with action to the words that we've all heard. Thank you very much.